Tonight, we're diving into the world of tariffs, those taxes placed on imported goods that can quietly but powerfully affect the price of your home, your job security, and even the broader economy. Tariffs might sound like something only politicians or economists worry about, but in reality, they touch the lives of everyday Americans in ways you might not expect. Think of a tariff as an entrance fee that foreign products must pay to get into the country. When a product crosses the border, the government adds a tax, making it more expensive before it even hits the shelves. Take Canadian lumber, for example. When it arrives in the US, a tariff can drive up its price, making it costlier for American companies and, ultimately, for consumers like you and me. The main idea behind tariffs is protection. By making imports more expensive, American-made products seem like a better deal. This is supposed to help local businesses compete and keep jobs at home. Supporters argue that tariffs shield American jobs and industries from what they see as unfair foreign competition, especially when other countries can produce goods more cheaply. But there's a flip side. When tariffs push prices higher, those increased costs don't just stay with businesses, they ripple out, affecting the entire economy. Companies may pass those costs on to consumers, making everyday goods more expensive. Builders, for instance, end up paying more for materials like lumber, which means the price of building new homes or renovating existing ones goes up for everyone. The hidden impact? Everyday families feel the squeeze. Higher material costs can make home ownership less affordable, and even small renovations can become out of reach for many. So, the big question is this: is it worth protecting one industry if it means higher costs for everyone else? Should we prioritize local jobs or focus on keeping prices low for consumers? It's a classic debate, producers versus consumers, and the ongoing question of who really benefits from these policies. The answer isn't always clear-cut. Tonight, we'll explore this conflict through the story of lumber, a product that's at the heart of American homes and livelihoods. We'll compare two very different approaches, one championed by former President Trump, who pushed for higher tariffs, and another from his critics, who argue for fewer trade barriers. Let's see how these policies play out for real people, families, workers, and business owners across the country, and what it all means for the future of American homes. Former President Trump targeted Canadian lumber, claiming unfair subsidies made it impossible for US sawmills to compete. His solution? Impose steep tariffs on Canadian softwood lumber, sometimes over 20%. The goal: make Canadian wood pricier, push buyers to American suppliers, and revive US forestry jobs. For logging communities, it was a promise of hope and protection. But home builders and retailers warned these tariffs would drive up building costs, making homes less affordable. The debate: protect American jobs or risk hurting millions of consumers? The battle lines were drawn. Critics like strategist Mark Carney offered a different vision. No tariffs, but targeted support for US lumber. Instead of taxing imports, Carney proposed grants and loans to modernize sawmills and train workers. The aim: make American lumber competitive without punishing consumers. This approach focused on investment, not punishment, helping the industry grow stronger from within. Carney argued tariffs hurt more people than they help, especially in construction. His plan sought a win-win: support workers, keep homes affordable. It was a fundamental disagreement: block competition or out-innovate it. The choice: artificial advantage or real competitiveness. When Trump's tariffs hit, lumber prices soared. The cost of building a new home jumped by thousands, pricing out many families. Renovations and DIY projects became more expensive, squeezing budgets everywhere. Contractors and small businesses struggled with volatile prices, sometimes forced to delay projects or lay off workers. While some sawmills hired more, the much larger construction industry faced slowdowns and job losses. For every logging job saved, several construction jobs were at risk. Builders faced uncertainty, unable to plan or price homes reliably. Many small companies were pushed to the brink. The intended protection for lumber producers became instability for the entire construction sector. The ripple effects were real and widespread. Tariffs meant to help one group ended up hurting many others. Carney's plan of subsidies and support avoided the sticker shock of tariffs. By keeping lumber prices stable, homeownership stayed within reach for more families. Investments in modern mills and worker training aim to create better, more resilient jobs. The goal make U.S. lumber competitive on its own, not just by taxing rivals. But there were downsides. Taxpayers would foot the bill for subsidies and grants. Critics called it corporate welfare, questioning why public money should support one industry. There was also the risk of international backlash. Other countries could accuse the U.S. of unfair subsidies, sparking new trade disputes. Instead of a tariff war, we could face a subsidy war. The plan avoided direct harm to consumers, but created new political and diplomatic challenges. The trade-off: stable prices, but at a public cost. No easy answers, just different risks. To truly understand the impact of tariffs, we need to listen to those living through the changes every day. The people on the front lines whose lives are shaped by these policies in ways statistics can't always show. Take Maria, a single mom in Texas. She spent years saving for a home, hoping to give her kids stability. But when tariffs drove up lumber prices, the cost of her dream house soared beyond her reach. Suddenly, what seemed possible was lost, and her family's future became uncertain. Meanwhile, David, a logger in Idaho, saw his fortunes change for the better. The tariffs revived his local mill, bringing back jobs that had vanished. For the first time in years, he could count on steady work and a reliable paycheck. For David and his family, tariffs meant more than just numbers. They meant hope, security, and the chance to plan for the future. But for Tom, a small contractor in Ohio, the story was different. He watched lumber prices swing wildly from week to week. One day, he could afford materials. The next, his costs doubled, making it impossible to finish projects on time or on budget. Tom was forced to delay jobs, lay off workers he cared about, and constantly worry about whether his business would survive another season. These stories reveal the trade-offs at the heart of the tariff wars. For every person who benefits, someone else pays the price. A policy that saves jobs in one community can cost jobs in another, shifting opportunity and hardship from place to place. The human side of economics is messy and complicated. Decisions made in Washington ripple outward, touching every corner of the country, from big cities to the smallest towns. There's no single truth in the tariff debate, just a patchwork of experiences, hopes, and fears. The real challenge is to craft policies that help more people than they harm, balancing competing needs and uncertain outcomes. For families like Maria's, David's, and Tom's, the stakes are deeply personal, not just political talking points, but real lives and futures. Every policy choice has a face, a story, and a consequence that ripples far beyond the headlines. When we look at Trump's tariffs and Carney's subsidies side by side, we see two very different approaches to the same problem, each with its own set of flaws and unintended consequences. Trump's plan offers immediate protection for American lumber producers, shielding them from foreign competition. But this relief comes at a cost. It acts as a hidden tax on millions of Americans, driving up the price of lumber and making it more expensive to build or buy a home. As a result, housing costs soar, and the construction sector feels the squeeze, slowing down new projects and putting pressure on workers and families alike. The pain from tariffs is spread broadly across the population, while the benefits are concentrated in the hands of a few. Carney's subsidy plan, on the other hand, keeps prices stable for consumers and avoids sudden spikes in housing costs. But instead of higher prices, the burden shifts to taxpayers, who now foot the bill for supporting the lumber industry. This raises tough questions about fairness, and it could even spark new trade disputes with international partners. The key difference is clear. Tariffs hit consumers directly at the checkout, while subsidies quietly spread the cost across everyone through taxes. Trump's approach sets up a battle between industries. Lumber producers benefit, but construction companies and home buyers lose out. Carney's plan, meanwhile, pits everyday taxpayers against a single targeted industry, creating its own set of tensions. In both cases, there are clear winners and losers, just in different corners of the economy. The real question is, which of these conflicts causes more lasting damage to the overall economy? Is it the visible, immediate pain of higher prices, or the hidden, long-term cost of subsidies? Would you rather face a cost you can see and plan for, or one that's buried in your taxes and harder to trace? The truth is, neither plan is perfect. Each comes with real, sometimes painful consequences for American families, workers, and businesses. Ultimately, the debate isn't just about policy. It's about who shoulders the burden and who reaps the rewards. The answer shapes not just the lumber market, but the future of the American economy. After weighing both plans, there's no perfect answer, just a choice between two imperfect paths. Trump's tariffs help a small industry, but hurt millions by making homes less affordable and slowing construction. Carney's subsidies cost taxpayers, but keep prices stable and avoid punishing homebuyers. The construction industry is massive. Harming it ripples through the whole economy. While subsidies aren't ideal, their impact is more contained. Tariffs, by contrast, inflict broad, immediate pain. In the end, a policy that makes housing unaffordable for millions is the greater harm. The lesser evil is the one that does the least widespread damage. The lumber tariff debate is just one example of a bigger challenge: how to protect American jobs without hurting American families. Every trade policy has winners and losers, and the consequences are real for your budget and your future. Simple slogans hide complex realities. Every action has a reaction. As citizens, we must ask, who benefits? Who pays? The lesson demand policies judged by real-world results, not just intentions. The goal should be broad prosperity, not just help for a select few. The real challenge is finding smarter, fairer solutions that strengthen America without sacrificing families. That's the path we must keep searching for.